Don't die like Elijah Cummings. Don't die like Elijah Cummings. Don't waste away like this man you see on the screen. His name was Elijah Cummings. He just died a few days ago at the age of 68 years old. That's too young for him to die at the age of 68. And he died wasted away. He was a representative from Baltimore, Maryland. He was very active politically, and he was also part of the American government. Elijah Cummings did not have to die, and don't die like him. Elijah Cummings died without knowing who he was. Elijah Cummings had no idea who he was. He thought he was an American. He said that he was an American. He said he was black. He said he was African American. None of these things means anything. What is black? What is African American? Are you from two continents? Did you come from two continents, Africa and America? Notice that everybody else knows who they are. The Asians knows that they are Asians and they have their heritage. The Latinos know they are Latino and they have their heritage. Everyone else knows who they are. You are the only one that addresses yourself by a color. Black. That you say you are black. You say you are African American. That doesn't mean anything. Why do you not know who you are? The same reason. That's the same reason why Elijah Cummings did not know who he was up until the time that he died. And he just wasted away. He didn't have to die at the age of 68 years old. He was too young for that. A 68 years old person did not have to die. That's too young. But he died because of who he was. Because of who you are also. Don't die like Elijah Cummings. Elijah Cummings just wasted away for nothing. He died without knowing who he was. Elijah Cummings was an Israelite. He was an Israelite. He was not an American. He was not black. He was not African American. Just like you are not black. You are not African American. Stop calling yourself black. Stop calling yourself an African American. Stop calling yourself black or African American. Elijah Cummings died without knowing who he was. Why didn't he know who he was? Why did he not know who he was? And why do you not know who you are? Check this out.
And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Thus saith the Lord.
That's Jeremiah 17 verse 4. Jeremiah chapter 17 in verse 4. Your God, your maker, your creator says that you will forget who you are. You will discontinue from your heritage. That you will discontinue from your heritage, and he will cause you to serve your enemy in a land that you do not know. This is what God, our creator, our heavenly father, told his people, the Israelites. Because they refused to keep his commandment. Because when he brought them out of Egypt, your God, your heavenly father, brought you out of Egypt, brought your ancestors out of Egypt, and put you in your land, in the land of Israel. You are an Israelite. Your God put you in the land of Israel. The deal, the covenant was that your God, your people, your ancestor will keep God's laws. And as long as they keep the laws of our Creator, everything will be fine. But unfortunately, your ancestors began to break those laws. And then your God was sending the prophet Elijah, Hosea, all these prophets, Jeremiah. God was sending the prophet warning your ancestors to keep his laws. If they don't keep his laws, that he will scatter them in the four corners of the earth, and that their enemies will rule over them. Your ancestors did not listen. Our ancestors did not listen. Guess what? In 70 AD, study about the Roman invasion of Jerusalem. Study about the Roman invasion of Jerusalem. You see that in 70 AD, the Romans invaded Jerusalem. The Romans invaded Jerusalem, and there was so many Hebrews that was killed, so many Israelites that was killed. That was when the Romans took the land of Israel, and then the Israelites migrated into Africa. Study this. It happened in 70 AD. Christ even spoke about it in Luke chapter 21. Christ spoke about this in Luke chapter 21. So your ancestor migrated into Africa and settled in Western Africa.
Would blow your mind. I'm 60 years old, and everybody who works for me is younger than me, and they'll tell you, I'll work you up under the table. I'll work you up under the table.
Where does that come from?
My father. My father, absolutely. My father is rigged. Let me tell you, this chair is about to break. My father's sitting here and my mother is sitting here and they're fighting for the mic from moment to moment. My grandmother talks to you every now and then. All of my ancestors are sitting on this table all the way back to Nigeria. All of them. My ancestors were Igbos from Nigeria. And Igbos are called black Jews, that they're industrious, that they go after things, that they're hard-working people. So all the way back in my DNA, we were self-sufficient. And all of them.
In the western shores, Western Africa was where your ancestors settled. Then in the 1600s, your enemies, the Europeans, your enemies, came down to Africa and took your ancestors as slaves and took them towards the Americas, where you are today, where Elijah Cummings was before he died few days ago. That's why you don't know who you are. So Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 4 has now come to pass because you've discontinued from your heritage. Everyone else knows who they are. The Asians know who they are. They know they are Asians and they can go back to their land. The Latinos have their heritage. They know who they are and they can go back to their land. The Europeans have their heritage. They know who they are. They can go back to their land. The Arabs, the same thing. But you are the only one who don't know who you are. And then you say you're black. You say you are African American. That doesn't mean anything. What does black mean? This is black right here. Are you this color? This is black. Are you this color? Stop saying that you're black. Stop saying you are African American. That is dumb. That doesn't make any sense. No one else addresses themselves like that. Everyone else knows who they are. You don't know who you are because the prophecy in Jeremiah 17 verse 4 have finally come to pass. And you don't believe in the Bible because you have been educated by your enemies. The Europeans are your enemies. They are the ones that educated you. They are the ones that educated Elijah Cummings. That's why you don't know who you are. And I'm not talking about Christianity. I am not talking about Christianity. I'm talking about the true people of that book, because Christianity is a pagan religion. Christianity is the religion of our enemies. Christianity was created by the Europeans, by the Roman Empire in 311 AD. The man that established Christianity was Constantine the Great in 311 AD. So we are not Christians. Our enemies took our book and then use it to brainwash us, use it to basically. We are not Christians. We are Hebrew Israelites. You don't know who you are because Jeremiah 17 verse 4 has come to pass.
And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. Thus saith the Lord.
So today, our enemies are oppressing us. You are living in the land of our enemy. We live in the land of our enemy. The Europeans are our enemy. And God raised the Europeans against us. He told us that he would do it. Read Deuteronomy 28, Deuteronomy chapter 28, Leviticus chapter 26, Jubilees chapter 1, Luke 21. I ask you, if you can, Google these places. You don't have to have the Bible to read them. You don't have to Google it and read it. You see that God raised our enemy against us. And America is the land of your enemy. Like it says in Jeremiah 17 verse 4, that you will serve your enemy in a land that you do not know. That's exactly what's happening today. So the so-called African Americans are not black. You're not African American. You're not black. You are a Hebrew Israelite. And people are beginning to find this out. People are beginning to find out who they are.
That's what they said that day. Now, if most of us do a DNA test right now, we'll trace our lineage back to West Africa. This is a fact. I'm from the Igbo tribe, Nigeria. Over 75% of my blood.
So you see? So you have to wake up. Don't die like Elijah Cummings. You have to wake up. Your brothers and sisters around the country, around where you are, around the world are finding out who they are. And everybody is going back to the law of the Most High. We must go back and keep the laws of the Most High. That's why this happened. That's why this happened. You must go back to the laws of God. You must begin to keep his commandment. You must begin to keep the laws. Go and read the book of Exodus. That's where you see your history. The book of Exodus, the book of Deuteronomy, the book of Numbers, the book of Leviticus. Read these books. That is where you see the solution. Stop calling yourself black and don't die like Elijah Cummings. Elijah Cummings died without knowing who he was. He died calling himself an American. He died calling himself an American. He died calling himself black. He died calling himself African American. And he died young because of the curses that God put on his people. That if you don't keep his commandment, he will make you sick. God said that if you don't keep his commandment, he will make you sick. You will never have peace and he will make you sick. If you begin to keep his commandment, he will take disease away from you. Please don't die like Elijah Cummings. Don't die like Elijah Cummings. I'm pleading with you. Go back and start keeping the laws of God. Stop calling yourself black. Stop calling yourself African American. You are a Hebrew Israelite. Don't waste away like Elijah Cummings. Take back your heritage. Take back your heritage, like it says in Jeremiah 17 verse 4, that you will lose your heritage and that you will lose who you are. Take your heritage back and begin to keep the laws and the commandment of God. Learn about his laws. Read the book of Deuteronomy chapter 30. Read Deuteronomy chapter 30. Go back and begin to keep the laws of God. And don't waste away like Elijah Cummings. You are a Hebrew Israelite. You are not black. You are not African American. You are a Hebrew Israelite. And you must begin to keep the laws of God. You have to grow your beard. You have to wear your fringes. Wear your fringes as an Israelite. Begin to keep the laws. Look into this. Look into it and don't waste away and die like Elijah Cummings. Elijah Cummings, his life was a wasted life. It was a completely wasted life. And he joined his enemy. Stop joining the Europeans. They are your enemy. That's why they are oppressing you. You don't see the white people killing Asians the way they are killing you. You don't see white people killing Latinos the way they are killing you. You don't see white people killing the Arabs and doing these things the way they are oppressing you because God sent them against you because your ancestor was breaking the law. Read all these scriptures and you will see for yourself. Wake up and don't die like Elijah Cummings. You have to start keeping the laws and the commandment of God. And if you have any question, you're more than welcome to contact me and ask. But first, go and read these scriptures and begin to keep the law. All praises to our Heavenly Father.